Welcome to News9 Mediaverse, and you're watching On Point with me. In this edition of On Point, I'm going to talk about Kashmir. There's a narrative war which is going on about Kashmir, on Kashmiris. And that narrative war is that everything has gone haywire after revocation of Article 370. The narrative war is that Kashmir is a story of suppression but not of integration. The narrative war is that the Kashmir is a story of subjugation but not empowerment. The narrative war is, as perceived by the West, that the Kashmir is a story of rights. It is a story of stolen rights, but it's not a story of development. It's not a story of beautification. It is not a story of social mobility. It is not a story of economy. It is not a story of a better Kashmir. It is not a story of Naya Kashmir but of suppression. But today, when Kashmiris speak about Kashmir, it breaks that narrative. It breaks that idea. It breaks that stereotype. It eats into that selective outrage. It eats into that narrative that everything has gone wrong in India. Every issue is a big issue and it has to do with rights and democracies. And you weaponize it. Kashmiri journalist, an activist, senior anchor of a TV channel, Yana Mir, gave a very powerful statement at the Sankalp Diwas event hosted by United Kingdom's Parliament. Yana said, "I'm not Malala. Malala is a big name. Malala means a lot. She stood against Taliban, but she went a further. She said, I'm not Malala. I'm free and safe in my country." She denounced Pakistan's propaganda against India. She also slammed unwarranted selective outrage and warned against those trying to polarize Indian society. Yana also praised Indian government's initiatives in de-radicalization, youth development, countering the negative media narrative. So today we will discuss how a Naya Kashmir is taking shape, which is safer, booming with tourism. Terrorists have been taken to task, though they still exist. But gone are the days of the blasts which kept Srinagar awake all day and night. I'm not saying that the miracle has happened, but things have changed. The tourists are back. There are no bomb blasts which are taking place. And this has happened under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But first, let us listen into the bite.
I am not a Malala Yousafzai because I am free and I'm safe in my country, India, in my homeland Kashmir, which is part of India. I will never need to run away from my homeland and seek refuge in your country, honorable MPs. And again, I will never even ever be a Malala Yousafzai. But I object to Malala Yousafzai defaming my country, my progressing homeland, by calling it oppressed. I object to all such toolkit members on social media and from foreign media who've never cared to visit Indian Kashmir, but fabricate stories of oppression from there. I urge you all to stop polarizing Indians on grounds of religion. We won't allow you to break us. This year on Sankalp Diwas, all I hope for is that our perpetrators living in UK and Pakistan will stop maligning my country in international media, on international human rights forums. Stop unwanted selective outrage. Stop trying to polarize Indian society remotely from your cozy UK living rooms. Thousands of Kashmiri mothers have lost their sons already because of this dark hole of terrorism. Stop coming after us. Let my Kashmiri community live in peace. Thank you and Jai Hind.
And I'm joined by Rubal Nagi, author and social worker. Rubal, my question to you is, it takes courage to say this. It takes conviction to say this. And it takes some sort of resolve to say this, that there is a Naya Kashmir. Do you feel that the turnaround which has taken place in Kashmir is substantive under Prime Minister Modi?
नमस्कार। वेल मैंने तो हमेशा कहा है बदलता कश्मीर नया कश्मीर। वी बीन वर्किंग इन कश्मीर जम्मू एंड कश्मीर सिंस 2017 और मैं खुद जम्मू एंड कश्मीर की बेटी हूँ। और जो चेंज, जो अच्छा चेंज हमने पिछले कुछ सालों में कश्मीर में देखा है, आई थिंक इवन अ ब्लाइंड मैन कैन से how Kashmir is now and how it was few years back. Me being the daughter of the soil, if we had to go out at night for dinner, my parents would say, you know what, beta, let's not venture out. Today, to see Lal Chowk mein raat ke 12 baje tak log ghoom rahe hain, I think this itself is the biggest positive change that we all were hoping for. During G20, we've all seen what a magnanimous, beautiful event that was. I was there myself. You can see hashtag Kashmir there. Every international media has taken pictures here. Miss World visited Kashmir. She and the whole crew visited all the beautiful spots in Kashmir. So, if we say that under Prime Minister's guidance, things have not changed, then I think we are fooling ourselves. But I would also little disagree to one thing, that going on an international platform and saying, I'm not Malala, what does that mean? Means what? You are not going to take refuge in some other country. Why? Are you not safe in Kashmir? Why would you not go and talk about the development, the education, employment, health sector being on a
I think
boom in
Rubal
Kashmir,
basically she was
then
trying to say
I'm
that
safe in
basically
Kashmir.
she's trying to say, I think, which you know the point, I think she was trying to say that the selective outrage on part of the Western media is something she was talking about.
But listen, do we need to quote examples from people who are on a different platform altogether? It's like praising my state, first insulting my state and then praising it. Do we really need to quote examples from people? And, don't we have enough to talk about our state, about our country, without putting someone else down? And do we have to be in that same rat race with others where you are talking about, I'm not Malala.
Okay, no, you have a point. See, I respect your point. I think we should play out this bite again for the viewers, because you have made a contrarian statement. You have said something very different. Let us play out the whole bite again.
To conclude, I am not a Malala Yousafzai. I am not a Malala Yousafzai. Because I am free and I'm safe in my country, India. In my homeland, Kashmir, which is part of India. I will never need to run away from my homeland and seek refuge in your country, honorable MPs. And again, I will never even ever be a Malala Yousafzai. But I object to Malala Yousafzai defaming my country, my progressing homeland, by calling it oppressed. I object to all such toolkit members on social media and from foreign media who've never cared to visit Indian Kashmir but fabricate stories of oppression from there. I urge you all to stop polarizing Indians on grounds of religion. We won't allow you to break us. This year on Sankalp Diwas, all I hope for is that our perpetrators living in UK and Pakistan will stop maligning my country in international media, on international human rights forums. Stop unwanted selective outrage. Stop trying to polarize Indian society remotely from your cozy UK living rooms. Thousands of Kashmiri mothers have lost their sons already because of this dark hole of terrorism. Stop coming after us. Let my Kashmiri community live in peace. Thank you and Jai Hind.
So, Rubal, if I may ask you, if we have to quantify the changes in Kashmir, is it's only in context of terrorism, or it's also in context of economy, investment, and infrastructure?
See, in 2017 to 2024, we have over 600 girls of Kashmir, women of Kashmir, who are working with Rubal Nadi Art Foundation. initially, it was so difficult to pull them out of their homes, to tell them that if you want to work, let's support. I've said this on other media platforms also. But today, when you see our Kashmir girls, when you see our youth, they are out there. They want to work, they want to earn, they want to stand on their feet, they want to be proud of being an Indian, proud of being Kashmiri, proud of being Jammuites. So, and you know, if somebody, like, I was actually talking to somebody during G20, and that person posted a picture of an army guy behind the poster.
Priya.
I actually called him
Priya.
and I told him, I said, hey, you being a Kashmiri today, if you are going to do this,
Priya.
nobody in the world is going to respect your state. Because today you can yourself see what development, progress, the change that Kashmir has gone through. Badalta Kashmir, Naya Kashmir, Hamara Kashmir, Hindustan ka Kashmir, aap jo bhi use bole. If today people from Kashmir and people from India will not praise the development, the change that has happened in Jammu and Kashmir, then you know, this is like we are ungrateful to our own nation. So I have seen my girls working, and when you talk about employment, all my girls, you know, some of them have never even gone to Srinagar, forget going to Delhi or Bombay. And today when they're earning in lakhs, they are proud of what they're doing. One girl's initiative changed the entire village. So if you say that there is no employment and there is no development, I mean, you look around, you see your Polo View market. When you talk about infrastructure, there is such amazing development that has happened in Jammu and Kashmir. आज हम ये कहें कि वो स्वर्ग जो हमें, हेवन जो हम चाहते थे, जिसे हम कश्मीर को कहते थे, आज हमें वापस मिला है. इतने लोग स्कीइंग कर रहे हैं, इतने लोग इंटरनेशनल कंट्रीज से वहां जाके विजिट कर रहे हैं, टूरिज्म बढ़ रहा है. So I think this is something we must all applaud. Keep the politics aside and let's praise the good work done by not just the government, but also the people, also the locals, because locals are so welcoming. They are so loving. I mean, you go to Jammu, there's a different hospitality love. You go to Kashmir, you know, you're welcomed in a different way. So I think everybody in the world is seeing that. But some things, you know, instead of taking on to the negative, we must always portray the positive, which you can see. I always say that, you know, I believe my eyes, not my ears. And being the daughter of Kashmir, I've grown up there in Jammu and Kashmir.
Okay.
And from 2017 to 24, if you ask me, there is like a difference which anyone who is not even from Kashmir can see it.
Okay, I'm also joined by Javed Beg, a social activist, and Sajjad Yusuf Shah, author, observer, analyst in charge of the BJP Media Department, Kashmir. Welcome both of you to my show. But the first question to go to Javed. Javed, you know, when Yana said this, you know, there was no lament. I mean, just she spoke about the Kashmir as if she was speaking about her own state. You know, in the narrative war which the West wages against India, she clearly stated that. She clearly addressed it. She said, just don't go for the selective outrage. There are things which have happened in Kashmir and you guys don't acknowledge it.
Thank you so much for letting me come in your beautiful show. Not only an individual has to advocate for rebuilding Kashmir, reviving Kashmiriyat, but 140 crore Indians must come forward and start speaking about Kashmir and Kashmiris. Kashmir has been through hell because I was living there, my schooling there, my college there. I have lived my whole life in Kashmir. I have seen what happened in the last 30, 35 years. But now it is time, while we counter radical narratives of our neighboring country who have been sponsoring terrorism, radicalism, not only in Kashmir, but across globe. But at the same time, we have to advocate for the restoration of Kashmir, restoration of confidence of Kashmiris. The confidence of Kashmiris was mauled in last 30, 35 years. As I mentioned about radicalization, Kashmir was through a process of radicalization, which was countered by Kashmiris themselves. When you know, somebody speak about Kashmir now, what Kashmir is at present, you talk about tourism, you talk about investment, development, which I acknowledge. Yes, tourism is at all-time high. You know, narratives have been turned into
But
jobs, the false
I need
narratives
to,
of any
Javed, I'll
country.
come back to you. I need to slip into a break and inform our viewers of something very important which is going to happen on Sunday. But this debate is not closed. We are counting down to the big event that News9 is organizing this coming weekend, the News9 Global Summit. It's about New India that is recognized as a rising economic power and a major global player. Theme of the summit is how India is poised for the next big leap. What India thinks today. Summit is being organized by the TV9 group, and this edition of the summit is unmissable because the keynote address is by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. What India thinks today. Summit Feb 25th, 26th and 27th.
From fragile 5 to top 5, from a laggard to a leader, India under Modi has reimagined the world order. Presenting the second edition of TV9, What India Thinks Today. Summit theme, India poised for the next big leap. Listen to Prime Minister Modi unveil his vision for Viksit Bharat at News9 Global Summit, a TV9 network initiative.
Presented by Poonawalla FinCorp, enabling dreams. Co-powered by Sugar Free, एक छोटा सा चेंज फॉर फिटनेस. बनेगा तो बढ़ेगा इंडिया. अल्ट्राटेक देश का नंबर 1 सीमेंट. नो स्ट्रेस फिनोलेक्स. प्रिया गोल्ड बटर डिलाइट बिस्किट्स कलौंजी के साथ मक्खन का तड़का. स्पेशल पार्टनर प्रभु जी, मिठाई हो या नमकीन, बस मौका चाहिए जी. सर्वोकॉन ट्रांसफॉर्मर एंड स्टेबलाइजर, रखे सब कंट्रोल में. सर्वोकॉन.
And I'm also joined by Sardar Yusuf Shah and Yana Mir from United Kingdom. A very warm welcome to both of you. But let me go across to Yana Mir, who joins me from UK. Very warm welcome to you, Yana, senior anchor from Bharat Express. Yana, very forceful speech in the UK Parliament.
Yes, and I think it was about time that someone gave that keynote. Someone addressed the UK Parliament and told the people here that the Indian Muslims are in fact safe and in fact free in our country, safe enough and free enough that we don't need to take refuge out here. We can come here as tourists and spend a lot of money shopping around, but we don't need to come here and be refugees in your country. And I think what I said was important from the point of view that there are refugees who come into this country from Pakistan and other such disturbed areas. They come here citing that they want to do something for the women who can't get education in Pakistan and Afghanistan because of radical Islamist societies. But after coming here, instead of focusing, after coming here, winning Nobel Prizes and getting millions of pounds and dollars to raise funds to do something for the education of Muslim women in radicalized Islamist areas, instead of doing that and focusing on that, what they do is they become toolkit gang members. And they take money separately to defame India.
Yana, what is that? Yana,
there are many like that.
Is this a narrative issue? To build a narrative to see Kashmir from that age-old perspective, as if nothing has changed. There is timelessness there.
But that is our fault. Why do we keep on defending Kashmir every time? Why, like the G20 has happened, the world has seen what Kashmir is and how it's advancing ahead. The people and the state itself, and we're even getting ready for elections. Now the Supreme Court has given orders that we're going to have our elections, inshallah, by September 2024, and that should happen. The delimitation is already in place, and the reservation reorganization bill's passed, and there is just nothing that Kashmir is lacking right now. Why are we even giving explanations? We should be, in fact, doing a reverse psychology tactic, and we should be pointing fingers. And asking Pakistan why the people of part of Akhand Bharat, which is POJK, occupied by Pakistan right now, why the people there are suffering, why human rights violations there, why no food to eat, no electricity, despite taking all the electricity from generated from their rivers, but they don't get electricity.
Okay, I think there's a bit of a problem, but I think she made a very strong point. Sajjad Yusuf Shah, she used the word Akhand Bharat. Sajjad, she used the word Akhand Bharat, Yana, unapologetically. उन्होंने अखंड भारत की बात की unapologetically. लगता है हमारी आवाज नहीं पहुंच पा रही. Rubal, would you like to respond to it?
Well, I have always said that, you don't need
No, but she used the word
outsiders.
Akhand Bharat. Akhand Bharat.
Yes, but
Akhand Bharat.
we've always believed in Akhand Bharat, and to get certificates and credit statements from outside the world that how people are treated in our country is something we need to stop, because people sitting outside India are criticizing India than the reality on ground. A lot of people come to me and say, ma'am, you are a Sikh, a family girl, you support Hindus, you support Muslims, there's everybody who's working with you. What do you say? You don't think Muslims are not given this right, Sikhs are ill-treated this way? I tell them, you know what, sitting outside India, you are talking about how people are treated here. Why don't you come on ground with me and come and see the way they live? We've never had a division of Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai ever. We have almost 2 million people working with us in our organization across India. We have never sat and discussed Hindu, Muslim. We've only sat about, we have already spoken about children education, how our women can come forward and work, how they can become Atmanirbhar. So where is this question coming?
Okay.
So
Yana,
that is why I said that we should not compare ourselves to somebody else.
Fair enough. Yana, how has Kashmir changed economically, socially in last 4 or 5 years? Can you unmute yourself? Yana, can you unmute yourself? Can you unmute yourself? Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so self-employment, for example, in Kashmir is on the rise. 257,000 MSME registrations, out of which 51,000 are women. Women who were, stigmatized to the extent that they never even used to take selfies at one point of time. You now find them rapping around in the streets of Kashmir. You see Har Ghar Tiranga. You see the record number of tourists coming into the valley. You see how militant recruitment has stopped. You see how the production and export of Kashmiri handicrafts, you talk about shawls or carpets or whatever, that's doubled from 5 billion to 11 billion in just one financial year, 2022-23. When you see how the production of saffron has doubled, more than doubled, we've crossed like 15 metric tons. So I think on the whole, Kashmir's economy is there for everyone to see, and I think it's about time we should stop defending Kashmir all the time, and it's time that we start the attacking tactics and we start speaking for the people of POJK, who are also part of Jammu and Kashmir.
In context, the last time I went there, I met rappers. I met a girl. She was like a very famous Kashmiri rapper. I met people, who were into the different, I would say, some were antique makers. There is an explosion of different professions in Kashmir, which I, as a journalist, did not see that in late 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, they're into chocolate
so, different
making.
professional feats have happened.
Into tattoo parlors, which is considered haram. They're opening makeup salons. All these things that were considered haram, and also women were not allowed to take part in sports. And now we have Kashmiri girls like Sadia Tariq and Tajamul Islam winning gold medals for India when they go to play in overseas tournaments. We have sports women like them, and so things have it's a whole new different Kashmir now. It's just like any other state. In fact, I would say it's the most peaceful state in India. It's the most peaceful place in India right now. It's not yet a state yet. We're still waiting for restoration of statehood. But it's the most peaceful region in India right now. If you see what's going on in West Bengal or in Haryana or Haldwani or wherever, when you see Kashmir is just so peaceful.
Yana, in your personal life journey, how have you seen changes happening which have touched you? Because last time when I was there, I met people who were into pottery. I met people who had their own coffee shops with books. As I said, I met a very young girl, I think somewhere before Kangan, she was, her father was working in RR camp, and she's a rapper now, some footballers. And I suddenly realized that, and then there were people working with this restoration of the Kashmiri, the old Kashmir, and I suddenly realized that not only, and I saw multi-story buildings. You know, people used to say Kashmir only has houses. On the way to airports, you have now multi-story buildings, new hospital in Kashmir, and I suddenly
So now
realized.
I'll just tell you that my personal, what I noticed on a personal level is that. So Kashmir is no more the place where, you know, parents are afraid that, oh, you know, our son's gone to college. What if he gets into wrong company? What if he gets into drugs? Or what if he gets into militancy? No, it's like now Kashmir does not belong to stone pelters and all these people, you know, druggies, who used to pelt stones and give anti-India statements in the press for 500 rupees a day. Kashmir doesn't belong to them anymore. Kashmir belongs to the youth that wants to contribute to the world, that wants to show their talent to the world, that wants to be involved in nation building. That's what the new Kashmir is.
How did this new Kashmir come about? How did that change
They
happen?
want me to say it. No, it's unfortunate, but when I say it, then, you know, you just get labeled. You get labeled as a government stooge. But it is a fact that it all happened after the 2019 abrogation of Article 370. And it's not the abrogation itself that made all the difference. It's also the jailing of the perpetrators of the Kashmiri society like Asya Andrabi and Yasin Malik. It's also the fact that the government invested so much in self-help groups, you know, schemes for the youth, you know, self-employment boosting schemes to boost growth of horticulture, schemes to make rural women self-sufficient. There's a plethora of schemes out there, and even things like the Golden Card, which every J&K citizen can apply for. There's also one, I don't know, I think it's a Ladli Beti scheme or something, where every household that has a daughter that's below poverty line gets 1,000 rupees every month, and then 6 lakhs when the girl turns 18. So the government has done so much for the upliftment of the Kashmiri society, because the government recognized that this is one society that was pushed back 30 years because of the turmoil and the conflict, that was kept alive by some 700-800 odd people who were fiddling as double agents in Kashmir. Taking money from
you do
Indian
not go
agencies.
away. You don't go away, you stay with
Sorry?
me, because Sajjad is also waiting for me. Sajjad, Article 370 revocation, Yana made a very important point. आपको लगता है कि 370 हटने के बाद बुनियादी रूप से कश्मीर बदला है?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Yana has rightly mentioned a lot of things about the Kashmir Valley. 370 हटने के बाद we have seen the peace in the Kashmir Valley. Lot of people who are picking the stones, who are picking the guns, and the local Kashmiris who are picking the arms and ammunitions. And today we are seeing the bats. You have seen the videos of Sachin Tendulkar roaming on the streets of the Jammu and Kashmir, and he's playing with the kids. We have seen lot of videos from the Kashmir Valley where our girls, our boys, they are right now playing music, and right now they are having the competition with the rest of the country. Lot of change has been made after the application of Article 379. It's only just because when we have a strong government in the center. We have a lot of governments in the past, but we have witnessed what they had done in the past. Right now, if we will talk about the Lal Chowk, we have witnessed the Lal Chowk, once the hub of the JKLF, which was the hub of the JKLF in the epicenter of the terrorism. Right now, it's the epicenter of the peace. Lot of Kashmiris, lot of people from the rest of the country, they come to the Lal Chowk and take the selfies. They take the pictures with the flag. So this is the change. I believe that this is a change. And one more point which I want to mention is that, like Yana had mentioned, that a lot of entrepreneurs are coming out after the application of Article 370, because government has given them the lot of avenues. For example, if we'll talk about the Mission Youth, we talk about the MSME, we have Khadi and Village Board.
Okay, Sajjad, I'll come back to you. Javed, I'll come back to you. Yana, I'll come back to you. And Rubal, please, all of you, do not go away, because this is a special debate. This is a debate on a new Kashmir. This is a debate on India's right to hold its own narrative. I would request you not to go away, but it's time for a break. And let me inform everyone that we are counting down to a big day on Sunday. And the big day is What India Thinks Today, News 9 Global Summit.
start with the end in mind. You need to know where you want to reach. Every morning that we wake up, we are exercising our choice. The destiny is decided. The results are known that I'm going to win. Life of a goalkeeper is something which has always intrigued me. When you come into a stadium, this is the highest level of pressure. When I set out to do something, I decide in my mind that failure is not an option.
What you feel very strongly about, those are the stories to tell.
I have a mind which is absolutely restless. Mind and body are entangled sensations. That brings me back to golf. It's an amazing game.
This is not a perfect game. You only learn from them.
If you have a formula to a success, then you can replicate it.
I feel this is my first step. I'm starting now.
Winner is first born in the mind. I think, therefore I am. We are all about our mind.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Sajjad, please complete your point. Then I'll go to Yana Mir, then Javed, and then Rubal. Please complete your point. I interrupted you before the break.
So I was talking that reason being the change we have seen in the Kashmir is just because we have strong government in the center right now. Because when we talk about the regional political parties, we are witness what they have done in the past. They used to push our kids towards the terrorism. They used to push our kids so that they can pick up the guns, so that they can run their show, they can run their business, they can run their political career. So right now, if we talk about the Kashmiri youth is focusing on their career. The Yana has mentioned a lot of schemes, lot of girls who are right now excelling not only in the India but across the globe. We know a lot of Kashmiri girls, we know a lot of Kashmiri boys who are right now going abroad, who are making the India proud across not only at the India level but at the global level. So these are the things which I believe that these are the changes. I believe that we can make pools, we can make in fact, but the thing is the peace, which was not possible for the 70 years when it comes to Congress and other parties. Okay. But when it comes to Bharatiya Janata Party, we have seen the peace. Because
Sajid, but there is also one question. You know, when we talk about the politics of Kashmir, and Javed, I hope you answer that honestly. You know, the politics, like every other part of India, has oscillated between families. Like Delhi, like Mumbai, like Telangana, like Chennai, like Patna, like Bihar, Punjab, families. So even in Kashmir, there was a huge parivarvad. Do you think it's time new people, new middle class of Kashmir reclaims Kashmir, take the levers of power, educated people who have like gone abroad, come back, or even worked in India and come back to the valley?
It's an ugly truth, but let me tell you, I salute Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi is setting new examples. He actually gave space, political platform, to people like you and me, wherein they showcase their political talent. Look at Uttar Pradesh. Yogi Adityanath is CM, and he's doing really good. Look at Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh. You know, people who've been given this big responsibility are not from dynastic politics. Similarly, I fought an election in 2020 after abrogation. District Development Council election. I couldn't make it to the council, but I was short of some 300 odd votes. But yes, I'm being heard there. The system has changed. That change has actually brought a change in the citizens of Kashmir. Mansikta ki change. That's now people have started integrating with the country. Before it was only physical integration. After abrogation, now people have started integrating emotionally with the main country of India. So this is the change we always wanted. People were craving for this change, and this change is brought by Narendra Modi. I believe, and I have my faith into this. India is going to become Vishwa Guru, and world has accepted this. We have recently seen it in Arab Muslim world, where Arab leaders were doing namaste to Narendra Modi. Before it was not possible. Civilizational revival has happened. Last week I was in Delhi. I saw Kartavya Marg. I was so proud of being an Indian. This is a Kashmiri Indian Muslim saying. This is the change we always wanted. And Kashmiri people, especially Kashmiri youth, have embraced this change. Let us see that change in every part of our country, not only in Kashmir, in every part of our country. These dynastic politicians, they exploited everything in our country. But new faces are bringing a lot of change within their territories. And I believe, people like these youngsters out there in Kashmir who are bringing, who are bringing real time change in our mohallas, in our towns. I have very recently I have seen many young Kashmiris coming to New Delhi, Mumbai. A young lady, she won Master Chef India. Two young guys, they won some contract in Shark Tank. A lot of things
Javed,
have happened.
You use the
a guy from my
Javed, you said Vishwa Guru. Javed,
India as a pilot.
Javed,
So this is real change.
You use the word Vishwa Guru, you use the word Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and you use the word ugly reality. Yana, was this the reason that 2 or 3 families were controlling, that the people like you from the middle class of the Kashmir was not getting its share in the public platforms? You had to queue in front of the families to get a ticket.
Yeah, obviously. I still wonder why. I mean, I still wonder why people even support parties like PDP and JKNC, because they know that they're never going to get... I don't have any political leanings, let me tell you that. I only speak for my people if they have problems, whatever problems they're facing. I'm a journalist and I'll always be one. But my point is that I always used to wonder why people are so loyal to PDP and JKNC, knowing very well that no matter what they're going to do, they're never going to get that ticket to become CM. It's always going to be their offsprings, whether or not their offsprings have contributed in any way to the society or not. But I guess... that is like setting in now. People have started to understand, which is why when our political leaders were detained after the abrogation of 2019, which I think was very necessary to teach them a lesson. It was necessary to teach them that you can't play this double agency game anymore. Taking money from India to prove, to say that we're going to maintain peace in India, and then taking money from other sources to maintain conflict in Kashmir. So when they were detained, not a single Kashmiri came on the streets to say, give us Mehbooba Mufti back, or give us, Omar Abdullah back. Yes, they did say, give us, we were on the streets, I was also on the streets saying, give me my internet back, give us our internet back. But nobody said, give us Mehbooba Mufti back, or give us Abdullah back.
What sustained them for so long, Yana, in retrospect? These couple of families, what sustained them?
They were just winning on default because the Kashmiris were not going out to vote, and it was shown, and that was Pakistan took advantage of that and showed that, look, Kashmiris have no faith in Indian democracy. That's why they're not coming out to vote. But the fact is that they were not coming out to vote because they were fed up of these leaders. So when the DDC elections that Javed just mentioned, when they happened, when the BDC elections happened, you know what the voter? I'll give you a stark example. When Mehbooba Mufti or Omar Abdullah would stand for elections, the voter turnout would be 4%, 6%. But when the DDC elections happened, when the BDC elections happened, 76% voter turnout, 80% voter turnout. That is the faith Kashmiris have in the Indian democracy. But they just didn't have faith in these two families.
Okay. Sajid, do you think that these local polls which took place, Yana, please don't go away, local polls which took place, Sajid, have played a major role in democratizing the Kashmiri political terrain?
The people who used to contest election before, it was either the Mufti, either it was the Abdullah. But after the abrogation of Article 370, there were the 3-tier system elections happened after the abrogation of Article 370. So who were the people? It was the young generations, maybe from the farmer's son, somebody from the Shikarawala's son, somebody from the poor's son. So all those people who are from the poor family, or who are the educated, who are not having the political legacy, or I can say the family raj, whatever you say, whatever you call it. So they are not those people. They are the young Kashmiris who have seen all the things from their birth. So right now they are representing us. So it is the thing that the new people, the new faces, the young generation of the Kashmir Valley, they are representing us. That's why the Kashmir is blooming.
Okay. Javed, as I said, so, G20, revocation of Article 370, tourism, jobs, ability of the Kashmiri youth to get integrated in any part of India. Apart from that, what do you feel should be done more to create that sort of economic prosperity in Kashmir, which is there in Hyderabad and Bengaluru? What more is required? Is just the capital? Javed? I think my voice is not able to reach Javed. Javed, am I audible to you? Okay, so Javed is not audible to me. So let me go across to Yana. Yana, this is one topic I generally don't miss out. It's about Nari Shakti. When we talk about Kashmir, we need to talk about women, because women have also suffered in Kashmir a lot. Generally people think from the perspective of men, but there is something called a gender perspective. What sort of improvement do you think has come, and what more needs to be done to improve the life of women? Because ultimately they suffered from Pak-sponsored terrorism. They lost the family, they lost the mobility to go out, in context of education. A lot of things happened with women, like silent suffering.
No, I think the women have started advancing ahead, although we still have, we still have bad news coming. Like, we still have things like, for example, Amreen Bhatt, who's a YouTuber. I'm also a YouTuber. Amreen Bhatt was also a YouTuber, but I got lucky. I didn't get shot dead. But Amreen Bhatt, the perpetrators just entered her house and shot her down. Broad daylight. She just gets murdered. Just for what? For being a YouTuber. So we need, I think Kashmir society still needs protection from such perpetrators. Kashmiri Pandits still get gunned down. Like, we know what happened to Rahul Bhatt, but then that was 2 years ago. But then Poon Krishan Bhatt.
But that's a worrying part, you are right, Yana, that's a worrying part, that the targeted killing of the Kashmiri Pandit, that continues.
Yes. Yes, the one-off incidents still happen, and then there are still people who are on target. There are still police officers getting killed just because they serve in the JK police. There are still the local laborers getting killed. So there is still, we have achieved an 80% decline in terrorism. Yes, that's true. But there's still lots to be done in terms of security definitely, most of the government schemes, now not everyone's aware of them. There are also some very, I would say, poisonous, toxic government employees who are, deep inside their hearts, they're Jamaat-e-Islami supporters. So they're making sure that the government schemes don't actually reach people. There are also people like that working in government departments, various government departments in Kashmir. For example, for a long time, most hospitals refused to accept the golden card. That happened, but then that was brought into notice, and then action was taken. So there are lots of schemes like that people are not being made aware of, people are not getting access to, because there are still some supporters, hidden supporters of the Jamaat and hidden supporters of conflict who are hiding in the Kashmir society, and they need to be filtered out. So there's still work left to be done. The drugs, the problem of drugs has not been eliminated completely, but it has been brought down to a big extent. So yes, there are some things like that needs to be done. Other than that, I think we are on the right track.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful, Yana. Javed, I was not able to get in touch with you. I think that we had a line problem. Javed, Yana made a very solid point. And that point is that, a lot of things have been done. But in context of, drugs, YouTubers being attacked, the lone wolf attacks on Kashmiri Pandits, the inability of them to get reintegrated in the Kashmir society remains some of the few challenges.
Yeah, very true. We still have a lot of challenges because the pipeline of terrorism is still there. We need to understand this. Kashmiris were not involved by choice in all kind of radicalization or extremism. They were pushed into it by our neighboring country, who are world sponsors of terrorism, radicalization, and extremism. There are challenges, and there are some elements are still there. Yes, I don't deny this truth. There are still some elements. We have seen very recently some very top officers of our Indian Army, highly decorated officers. One of them was known to me. He was martyred there. A highly decorated police officer, Humayun, he was like a brother. He was also killed. Masroor, he was also killed by terrorists. But yes, societies have rejected, be it Kashmiri Muslim society, Hindu society, Sikh society. Kashmiris have rejected terrorism. Kashmiris have rejected that ideology which was supporting terrorism.
Okay.
Kashmiris are trying very hard to revive that old Kashmiriya, the inclusive society, or that overall inclusive social narrative we had.
Okay.
And it's a matter of time. Things will be settled there. I assure you, I live in Kashmir, that too in rural backward area. Things will be different down the line 5 years. Because Kashmiri, the generation next, they are different lot. You trust me for that. They love Tiranga. Tiranga will be identified them. Yes.
Okay.
It's the biggest achievement.
Sajid Javed made a very good point. When you talked about dynasty, there is always if you talk about dynasty, you are talking about people controlling the levers of power. But then when the elections took place, this third plank could not come up. Do you think it will take some time for the third party to make that space in Kashmir? A political party, there was an attempt when Ram Madhav was there, professionals, engineers, to come and fight elections. What more should be done that this middle class comes out in votes, create a third front, a sort of a third plank?
Yeah, absolutely. You see, I know a lot of people from the Kashmir Valley who are my friends and who are known to me. They don't have any, like I mentioned, they don't have any this political legacy behind. They're the common Kashmiris, somebody who was, for example, teacher in the school, somebody who was having the business options, somebody who was outside. I know a lot of people who are who came from the Bangalore. Even I know the Javed very well. He was also a young student who was studying outside and coming. Then he left the job and came back to Kashmir Valley. So there are n numbers of Kashmir who are coming forward to contest elections, who don't want to fall in the trap of these Muftis and Abdullahs, who wants to contest election, because a lot of Kashmiris who have seen the agony, who have seen the pain from last 30 years, they know very well how to bring the Kashmiriyat back to the Kashmir Valley. Like Yana and Javed has mentioned that the terrorism right now is still there. But because I believe that yes, we have an invisible enemy behind us, we can't expect that the enemy will remain silent. But yes, there's a decline in the terrorism, and a lot of young Kashmiris who are not right now scared to contest election. And I must tell you on the show that if whenever the elections will happen, in the parliament election or assembly election, you will see a lot of young Kashmiri faces who are going to contest elections. They are not going to be voters; they are going to contest elections.
You're saying they're going to contest the elections, but do you think there's a possibility that there might be a new political party? Apart from BJP is also there. Something new, something very hyper-local Kashmiri.
I know...
As hyper-local as Harissa. As hyper-local as Harissa.
I know few of the guys who have recently floated the political party. I know some people who have floated the political party after the abolition of party. They are the young Kashmiris. They don't, like I said, they are young Kashmiris who floated the political party. And yes,
Javed wants to come in. Javed, I'm saying as hyper-local as Harissa, as hyper-local as Rogan Josh, as hyper-local as Yakhni.
Let me announce here. Let me announce on your very beautiful and intellectual platform. I will be fighting Lok Sabha elections from Baramulla, Kapwada. I come from Berawa. But I'll be my assembly constituency comes in North Kashmir. I will be fighting Lok Sabha elections from there, and I want to become Modi of Jammu and Kashmir. What Narendra Modi ji is for my country, I want to become Modi for Jammu and Kashmir.
Oh, wonderful. But I think that will take a lot of perseverance. I think that will take a lot of time, and I think that will take a lot of hard work.
I am highly convinced.
You should aspire to
I'm highly convinced.
Javed, you should aspire to be the best. If you're aspiring to be the best, my good wishes are with you.
Yes.
Sajid, but there remains one issue when we talk about Kashmir. It always boils down to the narrative issues, the debate. Do you think that Kashmir has been integrated, empowered and enhanced by revocation of 370?
See, one thing I believe that yes, more need to be done after the abrogation of Article 370, and a lot has been already took place in the past. Because when we talk about the narrative, because the enemy, our invisible enemy, who are very strong, who are into this field from last 75 years, they are into this conflict from last 75 years. They are very expert in peddling the lies when it comes to Jammu and Kashmir. Even if you will see the newspapers of the Pakistan, even I was going through the newspapers, I keep reading, keep the track of the Pakistan newspapers. Even they today mentioned that Kashmir is under siege, Kashmir is under curfew. So a lot of things they are peddling the lies. Even if you the social media handles of the Pakistani, some has created a lot of fake handles. See what kind of fake things they are peddling on the Kashmir Valley. And those Kashmiris who want to progress, who want to peace, and they are being labeled as a traitors. They are being labeled as these collaborators. So we need, I believe that yes, we need to do a lot of things, a lot of work when it comes to narrative building. That's very important because we have done a lot of things in the past. More needs to be done.
Okay, that's very wonderfully said. But our audience, the people who have been part of this program must listen to what Yana Mir said, because Yana Mir didn't mince any word. When she said I'm not Malala, basically the whole thing was she doesn't need any refuge. If they are Pak-sponsored terrorists, Kashmiris will fight them, and they have already defeated them, because after the revocation of Article 370, the story is different. It's about democracy, not dictatorship. It's about empowerment, not suppression. It's about integration and economic development. And it's not about the sort of the right democracy or the representative narrative which the Washington and the London, which emanates from Paris. It's about Kashmiri people talking about themselves, about their own life story, but not being seen from the prism of the Anglo-Saxon democracy. So let's listen in to this brave woman.
To conclude, I am not a Malala Yousafzai. I am not a Malala Yousafzai. Because I am free and I'm safe in my country, India. In my homeland, Kashmir, which is part of India. I will never need to run away from my homeland and seek refuge in your country, honorable MPs. I will never even ever be a Malala Yousafzai. But I object to Malala Yousafzai defaming my country, my progressing homeland, by calling it oppressed. I object to all such toolkit members on social media and from foreign media who've never cared to visit Indian Kashmir, but fabricate stories of oppression from there. I urge you all to stop polarizing Indians on grounds of religion. We won't allow you to break us. This year on Sankalp Diwas, all I hope for is that our perpetrators living in UK and Pakistan will stop maligning my country in international media, on international human rights forums, stop unwanted selective outrage, stop trying to polarize Indian society remotely from your cozy UK living rooms. Thousands of Kashmiri mothers have lost their sons already because of this dark hole of terrorism. Stop coming after us. Let my Kashmiri community live in peace. Thank you and joy.
From Fragile 5 to Top 5, from a laggard to a leader, India under Modi has reimagined the world order. Presenting the second edition of TV9, What India Thinks Today. Summit theme, India poised for the next big leap. Listen to Prime Minister Modi unveil his vision for Viksit Bharat at News 9 Global Summit.